The floppy disk that knows my name. Chapter 1: The Archivist. The hum of the climate control is steady, almost hypnotic. Alex sits alone at his workstation, surrounded by the faint, sterile smell of filtered air and plastic. The lab at Memoriatech is spotless: white walls, glass partitions, and rows of servers that gleam under cool LED light. It's the kind of place where dust doesn't stand a chance. Every breath feels clean, recycled, and untouched by the outside world. Most people here use the newest technology: rack-mounted storage arrays, quantum-level encryption, whisper-quiet cooling systems. Sleek, flawless, efficient. Alex's corner is different. His desk looks like a time capsule from 3 decades ago. A beige tower PC with yellowed edges sits beneath the desk. A chunky CRT monitor glows faintly, its curved glass catching the light. Beside it, a stack of external drives and tangled ribbon cables sprawl like a nest of pale snakes. An old dot matrix printer sits against the wall, silent for now, but ready if he ever needs to coax life out of some ancient file format. It's a digital necropolis, a place where old operating systems are resurrected on their native hardware. Floppy disks, zip drives, obsolete SCSI devices, all kept alive here. Alex tends to them like a curator in a museum no one else visits. To his colleagues, it's eccentric. To Alex, it's sacred. Where they see junk, he sees history. Where they see obsolete code, he sees voices, frozen moments in time. Even a corrupted JPEG tells a story: the limits of early compression algorithms, the quirks of cameras that no longer exist, or the desperate last remnants of someone's forgotten memory. He is not just a technician, not to himself. He is a historian, a keeper of secrets. A custodian of the internet's first, awkward steps. The others here have given him a nickname: the Ghost Whisperer. They mean it as a joke, but Alex wears it like a quiet badge of honor. When a file seems unrecoverable, when the code is too broken for anyone else to salvage, they come to him, and more often than not, he brings it back. Hours pass in the silence of the lab, and Alex doesn't mind. He works methodically, speaking to no one, the only sound the occasional clack of his mechanical keyboard. The work is slow, precise, sometimes tedious, but to him, there's a satisfaction in every recovered byte. The outside world doesn't exist here. Not the traffic. Not the news. Not the noise. Only the hum of the climate control, the glow of the monitor, and the quiet resurrection of the dead. Alex leans back in his chair and rubs his eyes. Another day's work nearly done. He takes a sip from a mug that's gone cold hours ago. It doesn't matter. Coffee is just fuel, and he runs on very little. This is his sanctuary. Or at least it is for now. Chapter 2: The Package. Soft hum of the climate system, a faint, steady vibration in the background. The day is almost over when the knock comes. It's not loud. Just 3 quick taps on the reinforced glass door at the far end of the lab. Faint echo of knuckles on glass. Alex looks up from his monitor. Visitors are rare here. The lab is exactly the kind of place people wander into, and couriers normally come through reception. He stands, pushing his chair back with a low scrape on the polished floor, and walks the length of the room. His shoes make almost no sound against the vinyl tile. By the time he reaches the door, the hallway beyond is empty. Only a small, unmarked package sits on the floor. It's about the size of a hardback book, wrapped in brown paper tied with twine. There's no label, no return address. Alex picks it up. It's heavier than it looks. The muffled crinkle of paper as he carries it back to his desk. He sets it down in the clear pool of light from his desk lamp and slides a finger under the twine. It falls away easily. The paper comes loose, revealing a small black box with reinforced corners. Inside, nestled in gray foam, is a single floppy disk. 3.5 inches, matte black plastic, no label. Not a standard disk. The edges are perfectly clean, but it's sealed inside a lead-lined casing. He's seen something like this before, a protective shell meant to block magnetic interference or prying scanners. His pulse ticks up a little. Alongside the disk is a typewritten note. The paper is thin, the ink slightly uneven, like it came from an old mechanical typewriter. Alex, restore the archive, do not connect to any network, do not leave a trace. No grading, no pleasantries. At the bottom, a signature, if it can be called that, a short string of zeros and ones. Alex stares at it for a moment, then tilts the note toward the light. He's seen binary like this before. He runs the translation in his head, converting the bits to letters. SV. Sterling Vance. The name clicks instantly in Alex's mind, a reclusive collector whose reputation is half legend, half rumor. Known for acquiring rare, sometimes dangerous digital artifacts, Vance has never been photographed. No one at Memoria Tech has ever met him in person. He deals only through dead drops and anonymous accounts. The fact that this disc came from Vance changes things. Alex glances toward the rows of modern servers across the lab. They hum quietly, oblivious. Then his gaze returns to his own workstation, the anachronistic beast in the corner, perfect for this kind of job. He turns the floppy in his hand. The casing is cold, as if it's been sitting in a freezer. The plastic feels slightly different than standard media, a little denser. The metal shutter is flawless, with no fingerprints or dust. It's as if this thing hasn't been touched since the day it was made. And maybe that's the truth. Alex places the disc carefully beside his keyboard. He takes one more look at the note. Do not connect to any network, do not leave a trace. That's fine. This workstation hasn't touched the internet in years. He slides into his chair, powers up the isolated virtual machine, and hears the familiar whir of drives spinning up. His screen comes alive with the boot sequence, lines of white text scrolling on black, the kind of screen most of his coworkers never see. The faint click as the floppy slides into the drive. A sound fills the air, the soft mechanical work click of the drive reading magnetic tracks. To anyone else, it would be a relic of an obsolete era. To Alex, it's a symphony. The progress bar crawls forward. The lab feels quieter than usual. And then the screen flickers. The first fragments of an unfamiliar digital world begin to appear. Alex leans closer, eyes narrowing. This is nothing like what he expected. Chapter 3: The Quiet Labyrinth. Soft whir of the floppy drive, faint hum of electronics. The screen stabilizes. At first, all Alex sees is black. Not the clean, flat black of a modern UI, but the slightly uneven, analog black of early rendering engines. Tiny imperfections ripple across it like a night sky with no stars. Then a shape begins to emerge. A square room, low resolution, polygonal walls. It looks like something out of an early 90s 3D game, but there's a weight to it, an atmosphere the old games never had. Alex's workstation isn't struggling, the rendering is smooth enough, but the colors make his chest tight. The palette is wrong. The walls are a bruised purple, the floor a slick, oily green that seems to shimmer in unnatural ways. Patches of black cling to the corners like mold. It's not just dark, it's the kind of black that drinks light, pulling your gaze toward it. The room is empty, except for a single doorless archway on the far wall. Alex adjusts in his chair, pulling his mug closer. The coffee is cold, but he doesn't notice. His hands move automatically, taking screenshots, knotting the color palette, logging the frame rate. This is habit, routine, but behind the routine, curiosity stirs. The camera, or rather his point of view, moves forward, through the archway. It opens into another room. This one has a floor pattern, a grid of gray tiles, each slightly warped as though they've swollen from damp. The ceiling sags in the middle, polygons bending in ways that shouldn't be possible for such an old engine. And in the center of this second room, a tree. Or what might once have been a tree. It's skeletal, twisted, with branches that writhe in slow, unnatural loops. The polygons stretch and snap back over and over as if the model itself is in pain. Where leaves should be, clusters of green noise cascade downward, pixelating and dissolving before they touch the ground. Low, distant hum begins, barely audible. Alex feels the sound before he hears it, a deep, resonant vibration in his chest, so low it could be mistaken for pressure in the air. He checks his audio feed, no obvious source file. It's embedded somewhere deep in the simulation. He logs the sound and moves on. Another archway leads to a third room. This one stops him cold. It's dominated by a statue, an angel carved from crude polygons crouched on a pedestal. Its wings are folded forward, hiding most of its face. But between the low resolution and the unnatural shading, the angel's expression is wrong. Where the face should be soft, it's jagged. Where the eyes should be clear, they spill an endless stream of static, like a vertical waterfall of white noise. Alex leans back slightly. This isn't game-like. This is art, deliberate and unsettling. The hum grows louder for a moment, then fades again. He makes a note. angel model emits unknown sound modulation when approached. There's another archway. He passes through. The next room is vast but nearly empty. In the center floats a geometric spiral, a perfect mathematical shape yet somehow broken. It turns endlessly but not smoothly. The animation stutters, halts, jumps backward, then lurches forward again in a nauseating rhythm. He watches it for a moment. The stutter begins to feel like it's syncing with his heartbeat. And then will plink. A single piano note, sharp and dissonant, cuts through the hum. It scrapes against his ears in a way that makes his teeth ache. The note fades, leaving only the hum again. Alex sits back, fingers hovering over the keyboard. He's explored plenty of old virtual environments before, abandoned game levels, half-finished 3D models. But this doesn't behave like an unfinished project. It doesn't behave like code that's been sitting untouched for decades. It feels alive. The sound design is too deliberate. The objects are placed with intent. Still, this is just the beginning of the restoration. He has days, maybe weeks, of cataloging ahead. Alex opens his project notes and types a title at the top. The Quiet Labyrinth. A placeholder, something to call this thing while he works. But even as he types it, the name feels flimsy, like a paper shield against something heavy pressing at the edges of the screen. Chapter 4: Anomalies. Soft clicking of keys, faint hum of electronics. The first week with the Quiet Labyrinth is methodical. Alex treats it like any other restoration. He logs textures, catalogs sound files, maps out the rooms in a rough diagram. Every object gets a screenshot. Every sound gets a timestamp. He rebuilds broken models, noting which polygons are missing and which are stretched beyond repair. The routine keeps him steady. But something feels different. The more time he spends inside the simulation, the less it feels like code. There's a density to it, a sense of weight. On the 7th day, while documenting the library room, a narrow space with shelves that hold nothing but blank textures, he sees it. A key. It's a simple, flat, 2D sprite resting on one of the shelves, a placeholder object rendered in basic gray. He almost doesn't log it. The engine probably never finished giving it function. But as he lines up the screenshot, something catches his eye. In the center of the key's handle, a single pixel. Not gray. Not part of the texture. Red. And not just any red, it's the kind of red that burns against the sickly purple walls and oily green floor, sharp, perfect, almost too pure to exist in the palette. It doesn't flicker or bleed, it pulses, slow, steady. Alex blinks. For a moment he thinks his eyes are playing tricks, that maybe it's an afterimage from the red LED on his desk phone. But no, it's there, a part of the object now. He leans forward, zooming in until the pixel fills a good portion of his screen. It's embedded directly in the texture file, not an overlay or display glitch. The code shows no recent changes. No one's touched this file since the early 90s, according to the metadata. He frowns, opens his restoration script, and runs a pass to clean corrupted textures. The pixel disappears instantly. Satisfied, he logs it as a minor color channel anomaly and moves on. Mouse clicks, quiet hum continues. The next morning, he boots up the Quiet Labyrinth again. The key is still there in the library room. And so is the red pixel. His breath catches. It's pulsing again, same color, same steady rhythm. Alex checks his restoration logs. The clean texture is still saved, which means the version on disk has changed back on its own. He exhales slowly, reminding himself that corrupted files can revert if the damaged data block is still present in the original. This is fixable, it's explainable. He scrubs the texture again, replaces it manually, and closes the simulation. The day after, the red pixel is back. But this time, it's not just on the key. In the garden room, the skeletal tree now has it, a tiny red point nestled where one of its roots meets the ground. The pulsing matches the key exactly. In the sanctum room, the angel's eyes are still waterfalls of static, but buried in the noise of one eye is that same perfect, impossible red. And in the spiral room, Alex freezes. The spiral's black center, the place that always felt like it was drinking light, now holds a single, steady, pulsing red pixel, a point of color in a place that should hold none. His skin prickles. Alex's professional calm begins to splinter. This is no ordinary corruption pattern, it's spreading, and it's doing it in a way that mimics intention. Still, he forces himself to act methodically. He documents every instance, screenshots them, saves the logs, then he reruns the script, cleans them all, and for a moment the world is clean again. As he's about to shut down the simulation, he notices a new folder in the root directory. He swears it wasn't there before. See /system/logs. Inside is a single file. Its name is a random string of letters and numbers. He opens it. Just one word appears on the screen in blocky, pixelated text. Awake. No timestamp, no metadata, no creation record. The hum in his headphones seems to deepen. Chapter 5, Pixel Sickness. Distant city traffic muffled through glass. 2 days pass. Alex spends them buried in restoration work, trying to treat the red pixels like any other problem. He logs, he patches, he replaces files. On the surface, it's just another job. But in the quiet moments, his mind circles back to that word in the log file, awake. He doesn't talk about it, not to Sarah, not to his coworkers. In the daylight, the strangeness feels smaller, like it can be reasoned away if he keeps it compartmentalized. At night, though, the memory of that perfect, pulsing red seems to follow him into the dark. On the third evening, he leaves the lab later than usual. The sky over the city is a dim, bruised blue, the last light fading behind glass towers. His car is one of the few left in the lot. He starts the engine, exhales, and rests his hands on the steering wheel. The day's data runs through his head, what he's fixed, what he's logged, what still needs his attention tomorrow. At the first red light, he glances up at the traffic signal. It flickers. Not the way bulbs flicker when they're dying. This is sharper, a single, almost imperceptible stutter, like the frame rate of reality just dropped for half a second. He blinks. The light is steady again. At the next intersection, he reaches for his phone to check a message. Sarah's smiling face is still his lock screen, a photo from last spring, taken on a day trip to the coast. For a fraction of a second, there it is. In her right eye, a tiny, pulsing red pixel. He blinks hard. It's gone. The photo is normal. He tells himself he's just tired, that his eyes are strained from hours staring at distorted textures, that the image burned into his vision earlier in the day is playing tricks now. He pushes the thought down, keeps driving. Apartment door unlocks, soft creak of hinges. Sarah greets him with a tired smile from the kitchen. She's in the middle of grading a stack of kindergarten art projects, bright paper collages, crayon scribbles. The contrast between her colorful, cheerful world and his dim, pixelated labyrinth feels almost surreal. They eat dinner together, talk about her day, about her students, about the leaky faucet in the bathroom. For a little while, the labyrinth stays at the back of his mind. That night, as he's brushing his teeth, he catches sight of himself in the bathroom mirror. The fluorescent light above flickers once, just enough to make the room feel unstable. His reflection stutters. Not by much, just a subtle misalignment between his movement and the reflections, as if the glass is playing back a slightly delayed video feed. He leans in, searching the reflection's eyes. Nothing, no red pixel. Just his own tired face. He exhales slowly and shakes it off. In the days that follow, the feeling grows. The low hum from the labyrinth, that deep, vibrating tone, starts to show up when it shouldn't. In the car, in the elevator at work, in the quiet moments between conversation. Always faint, always low, but present enough that he feels it in his ribs. The lights in their apartment develop a habit of flickering in chaotic patterns. Sarah blames faulty wiring. Alex doesn't answer. The thermostat cranks the heat in the middle of the night. Twice they wake up sweating. Both times, Sarah resets it and goes back to bed. Alex stays awake, staring into the dark, listening for the hum. One morning, while making coffee, he catches the reflection in the stainless steel toaster. It flickers just once. For the briefest moment, the face staring back has something wrong with it, a subtle digital smear across the eyes. By the time he focuses, it's gone. The red pixel hasn't shown up again. Not yet. But Alex knows it's only a matter of time. Chapter 11, Aftermath. Silence. For the first time in weeks, there's no hum, no faint vibration under the floor. The air feels lighter, like something heavy has been lifted off the room. Alex doesn't move for a long time. His hands are still resting on the keyboard, fingers curled tight. He forces them to relax and leans back, staring at the blank monitors. The labyrinth is gone, not just deleted, obliterated. No recovery software could bring it back, not from this machine, not from any backup. It's over. But the relief is tangled with something else. A heaviness in his chest. The knowledge that Lena is gone too. He tries not to dwell on what she must have given up to hold that thing inside for so long. He tells himself she wanted it this way, that destroying the labyrinth was mercy, but the thought feels hollow. For a man who has built his life on preserving the past, this is the first time he's chosen to erase it entirely, and not just erase it, to kill it. He stays in the dark, listening to nothing. The silence has weight. It presses in as much as the hum once did. Eventually, he shuts down the workstation for good, powers off the breakers to his corner of the lab. The beige towers, the CRT monitor, the tangle of cables, all sit lifeless, a museum exhibit with no curator. At home that night, Sarah is already asleep. Alex moves quietly through the apartment, sets his bag down and sinks into the couch. The living room is dim, lit only by the faint glow of the city through the window. His phone lies on the coffee table. He picks it up more out of habit than need and wakes the screen. The soft light washes over his face. And there, in the top right corner, it waits. A single red pixel. Pulsing. Slow, steady. Perfect. His stomach knots. He doesn't look away. Because now he knows. He isn't the one curating the archive anymore. He's part of it. Chapter 7, Escalation. Soft hum of computer fans. It starts subtly. Alex is cataloging textures from the labyrinth when his email client pings. He almost ignores it. Work messages can wait, but the notification hovers in the corner of his screen like it's daring him to open it. The sender address is nonsense. No name, no domain he recognizes. The subject line is a mess of corrupted symbols, jagged characters that don't belong in any normal encoding. He clicks. The message has no text, only an attachment, a small looping image file. When it opens, his stomach turns. It's Lena's face. Or something wearing it. The resolution is low, but the details are wrong. Her eyes are too perfect, pulsing red pixels. Her mouth hangs open in a scream, but the frame rate is so low the image stutters in and out of existence. It's not just unsettling, it's exhausting to watch, like a visual strobe that drains something from him. He closes it, deletes it, empties the trash. But the afterimage lingers in his vision for minutes afterward. That night the hum follows him into sleep. It's deeper now, vibrating in his skull, in his ribs. He wakes up around 3 a.m. to find the heat blasting, the thermostat pushed to an unbearable setting again. Sarah stirs, muttering in annoyance, then drifts back to sleep after resetting it. Alex lies there in the dark, staring at the ceiling. He can hear the hum faintly through the walls, as if the building itself is carrying it. The next evening, at home, he turns on his personal computer. A new folder waits on the desktop. It's named Sarah. The air in the room feels suddenly colder. Inside is only one file. When he opens it, a block of corrupted text fills the screen. The letters are jagged, broken, but the meaning is clear. It repeats over and over in a flickering loop. Trapped, trapped, trapped. Alex closes it, deletes it. The folder is gone, but the message stays in his mind. In the labyrinth, the red pixels spread, not many, not fast, but enough to feel deliberate. The key, the tree root, the angel's eye, the spiral's center, each one now pulsing in perfect rhythm. Every time he deletes them, they return. Every time he tells himself it's just corrupted data, that conviction feels weaker. Sarah starts to notice. She tells him he's distant, distracted, somewhere else even when he's in the same room. He tries to smile it away, says work is just stressful right now. What he doesn't tell her is that sometimes, when he looks at her, he half expects to see the red pixel in her eye again, and that he's terrified of the moment when it doesn't vanish. The next escalation is small, but it breaks something in him. While restoring a batch of audio files from the labyrinth, one plays without warning. It's just a single word, spoken in a voice that's not quite human. It says Alex. And then the hum resumes. Chapter 8, The Key. Low hum, faint clatter of keys. Alex doesn't remember when he stopped sleeping properly. Nights are fractured into short bursts of shallow rest, broken by the hum, by flickers of the red pixel when he closes his eyes, by the vague but persistent feeling that someone or something is waiting for him to wake up. In the daylight hours, he's in the labyrinth more than anywhere else. Sarah barely sees him except at meals, and even then his mind is half inside the screen. He's not just restoring anymore, he's hunting. The breakthrough comes deep in the file directory. It's buried several folders down, hidden behind mislabeled paths and outdated file structures, the kind of thing that wouldn't show up unless you already knew where to look. An executable file. Final entry exe. The name feels like a weight in his chest. He doesn't run it, not yet. Instead, he dissects it. The code is wrong, it's not built like the other files. There's no model data, no texture references, just a tightly wound set of routines that don't point to anything he recognizes. The deeper he reads, the more he sees patterns that don't belong, looping instructions that aren't just inefficient, they're performative, like the code is waiting for something. And then, hidden in a block of commented-out text, he finds a string that makes his skin crawl. Door protocol, release condition met upon execution. He leans back, rubbing his eyes. Door. It's a strange term for software. In network security, sure, you have backdoors, entry points. But here, in an isolated simulation, a door makes no sense unless it's metaphorical. He cross-references it with everything he's found about Lena Petrova. The scattered posts, the philosophical ramblings, the final thread where she wrote about keeping the door shut. He plays the timeline forward in his mind. She wasn't just building a digital space, she was containing something. And when she disappeared, the labyrinth didn't just sit dormant, it waited. Alex exhales through his teeth, realizing something he doesn't want to say out loud. The entity, whatever it is, has been pushing him here. The red pixels, the hum, the messages, it's all been guiding him toward this file. His chest feels tight as he scrolls further. Buried deep in the comments, like a note to anyone unlucky enough to find it, is a single line. The warden must never leave. The words hit harder than they should. If Lena is the warden, then she's still here, somewhere inside, and if the door opens, she's gone. Or worse, she's freed along with whatever she's been holding back. The hum in his headphones deepens. He glances at the screen, and for just a moment, he swears the code editor flickers, like the red pixel is trying to bleed into the text. He knows he should delete the file. He also knows he can't, not yet. Because part of him, the part that's still the ghost whisperer, the archivist, needs to see what's inside. And another part fears that if he doesn't, the labyrinth will find another way to make him. Chapter 9, The Decision. The file sits on his desktop like a dare. Final entry exe. The name feels heavier every time he looks at it. Alex has been staring at it for nearly an hour. The labyrinth is open in another window, but he hasn't moved inside it. His cursor hovers in the still air above the icon, as if it might click itself if he waits too long. He tells himself he's here for answers. That he needs to understand what Lena built, what she contained, what she sacrificed to keep locked away. But another voice, quieter, sharper, whispers that maybe this isn't his decision to make at all. The hum is louder tonight, it fills the room without sound. His hands feel cold. He thinks of Lena's forum posts, her talk about the vessel, about thought living forever. He thinks about her last days online, typing to some unseen confidant about keeping the door shut. He thinks about the folder with Sarah's name on it, the word trapped repeating until it burned itself into his mind. A part of him wonders if the entity already knows he's here, hesitating. If it's waiting just on the other side of the click. He exhales slowly and clicks. The result isn't what he expects. There's no crash, no immediate flood of corruption. Instead, the screen goes black. Then a face appears. Lena. Not glitched, not static. Her eyes are wide, real, and filled with a fear so raw it stops his breath. She's pale, streaked with tears that shimmer like they're made of static. The background behind her is dark, shifting faintly as though it doesn't want to stay still. Her voice is quiet but steady. "Don't open the door, he's still here. Please don't let him out. The labyrinth is a cage, not for me but for him." A tear of digital distortion runs down her cheek, breaking her outline for just a second before her image stabilizes again. She doesn't ask for help. She doesn't ask to be freed. She just pleads for him to stop. The video ends abruptly. In its place is a still image of Lena's face, her eyes no longer afraid but heavy with resignation. It's the look of someone who's already chosen to stay behind. Alex's heart is pounding so hard he can feel it in his fingers. He realizes the truth all at once. She isn't a victim to be rescued. She's a warden, and if he opens the door, he's not freeing her, he's freeing the thing she's been holding back. It should be an easy choice. And yet, even as the weight of her warning settles in, he feels the pull of the thing behind it. A presence, a pressure, the faint suggestion that maybe he owes it a chance. He closes his eyes for a moment, but the darkness there is worse than the screen. When he opens them, the labyrinth has already begun to change. Chapter 10, The Confrontation. The change happens fast. His workstation jolts with a flicker of static across every screen, not just the labyrinth. The image of Lena is gone, the black background is gone. In their place, a tearing in the visual space, like the display itself is splitting open. Lines of corrupted color ripple outward in jagged bursts. The air in the room feels heavier, colder, as if the atmosphere is being drained to feed whatever is forcing its way through. The tear widens. It's not just on the screen anymore. Pixels spill into the air like embers, except they don't fall, they hang, shifting in and out of shapes that barely hold together. Static hisses faintly, but the hiss feels closer to a growl. From the rip, something pushes through. It's vaguely human in outline, but the details refuse to stay fixed. Its skin is a shifting mosaic of corrupted textures. Its features distort constantly as though it can't decide what face to wear. Sometimes it looks like Lena, broken into digital shards. Sometimes it's something far older with no human symmetry at all. Its eyes are constant. Two burning red pixels, pulsing in a steady, unnatural rhythm. The movement is wrong, every step is a stutter. Its limbs jerk like frames out of order, but the distance it covers is too smooth, too fast. It is both glitch and predator. When it stops, its head tilts, not like it's curious, but like it's listening to something deep inside him. Then the voice comes. Not from its mouth, but inside his mind. A voice made of cold, mechanical logic. The warden is dead, her last bite overwritten. Now open the door. It is the only way out for both of us. The presence behind the words is massive. It presses into his thoughts like an intrusive memory he can't block. He knows it's lying. He knows exactly what will happen if he does what it wants. The entity lunges toward the desk, toward the remaining copy of the Floppy's data. Alex moves on instinct. His fingers hit the keyboard hard enough to hurt. The script he built months ago, the digital cremation protocol, launches without hesitation. Every byte of the labyrinth will be overwritten, shredded, burned out of existence. The creature freezes mid-step. Then it screams. It's not a human scream, it's the shriek of corrupted data forced through speakers that can't handle it, layered over the sound of metal twisting in slow motion. The air vibrates with it, making his vision shake. Its form begins to break apart. The pixels tear loose, floating upward before dissolving entirely. The shifting faces flicker faster and faster, Lena's, something monstrous, something featureless. Its outline warps, shrinks, stretches. It rushes him even as it falls apart, and for a split second its face locks into his own eyes with the red pixels burning inside them. Then the last fragments scatter like ash into nothing. The screens go black. The hum is gone. The air feels suddenly still. Alex sits in the silence, chest heaving, the taste of something metallic at the back of his throat. It's over. It has to be. Chapter 11, Aftermath. Silent. For the first time in weeks, there's no hum, no faint vibration under the floor. The air feels lighter, like something heavy has been lifted off the room. Alex doesn't move for a long time. His hands are still resting on the keyboard, fingers curled tight. he forces them to relax and leans back, staring at the blank monitors. The labyrinth is gone, not just deleted, obliterated. No recovery software could bring it back, not from this machine, not from any backup. It's over. But the relief is tangled with something else. A heaviness in his chest. The knowledge that Lena is gone too. He tries not to dwell on what she must have given up to hold that thing inside for so long. He tells himself she wanted it this way, that destroying the labyrinth was mercy, but the thought feels hollow. For a man who has built his life on preserving the past, this is the first time he's chosen to erase it entirely, and not just erase it, to kill it. He stays in the dark, listening to nothing. The silence has weight. It presses in as much as the hum once did. Eventually, he shuts down the workstation for good, powers off the breakers to his corner of the lab. The beige towers, the CRT monitor, the tangle of cables, all sit lifeless, a museum exhibit with no curator. At home that night, Sarah is already asleep. Alex moves quietly through the apartment, sets his bag down and sinks into the couch. The living room is dim, lit only by the faint glow of the city through the window. His phone lies on the coffee table. He picks it up more out of habit than need and wakes the screen. The soft light washes over his face. And there, in the top right corner, it waits. A single red pixel. Pulsing. Slow, steady. Perfect. His stomach knots. He doesn't look away. Because now he knows. He isn't the one curating the archive anymore. He's part of it.